Steel Syrup Garage here with the Browning 2000. This is a 12 gauge semi-automatic shotgun. This one was produced in 1974. These were only made from 74 to 80. It does kind of look like the A5. A lot of people at the range say, what do you got there, an A5? But yeah, it's an A5 with a hole melted in the side of it. It's pretty interesting. Very different from the A5. Not even close. The A5 is a long recoil design. Then the Browning double auto had this side loading feature. Kind of, some people think it's that gun, but that gun, short recoil design. So both of them had that, retractable barrel. The barrel would retract on cycling. Take a look back at my videos. You see when we go in here, you see a bunch of springs and rings and all kinds of stuff. We're going to see some different stuff here. If this is a semi-automatic, how does this one work? This one is gas operated. It's Browning's first attempt at a gas operated shotgun. Yeah, that barrel sure goes on forever, huh? That's a 32-inch full choke barrel. Oops, ran out of room. Yeah, this thing is huge. It's a good gun, a good shotgun for tall people, people with big hands. This is going to feel real comfortable in your hands. This, you can see this long stretch here. This looks like it's all stretched out between trigger guard and pistol grip. Definitely is. Fits me really nice. I took to this shotgun really well. So let's break it down. Yeah, it's 12 gauge semi-auto gas operated, made in Belgium, but assembled in Portugal. An interesting little interesting little piece in Browning's history there. You kind of might wonder why that is. Maybe some certain trade things were going on where having them made in Belgium was, or put together in Belgium. The fact that they're actually out of Portugal might have something to do with some trade stuff, it sounds like to me. But 115,000 of these things made. That's not a lot. There's other shotguns. The A5, they made 115,000 of these in a certain year. Like the A5, for instance, was made from 1902 to 1972 in Belgium. I'm sorry, by FN in Belgium, from 02 to 72. 2.5 million made there. Then they moved production to Japan until 1997. Probably millions of them made from there. I have a Japanese one. My A5 is one of the Japanese produced. So you can see the difference in the amount made. Big, huge difference. So, so what's the story with this thing? Some interesting stuff. Let's talk about what made it good, what made it bad. And we'll also talk about why it was so unsuccessful. I'll tell you right now, it definitely was not unsuccessful because of how it functioned, because it functions pretty good. The history of how it worked was always, well, no one ever said anything bad about how it worked. There were some weird stories about it going off all by itself or something like that, but these are like rumors. So, like I said, its predecessors were the A5 and the Browning double auto, which the double auto was designed by Val Browning, John Browning's brother, actually. His son. And it was replaced by the Beretta patent Browning, the B80, which was similar. Browning went through a period where they were kind of like linking up with Beretta's design. So it was similar to the Beretta 300, 301, 302, 303, that series of gas guns. But this still a 100% Browning product. So what were some of the things that made it good? Well, this gloss finished French walnut looks pretty good. And this is real checkering on here. This isn't that impressed checkering that we've talked about where it's just like dots impressed into the wood. This is actual cut checkering still on this guy. It's got this familiar, nostalgic humpback look to it of the A5. It has a speed loading feature very similar to what the A5 had. We will cover that with this side loading port. The side loading port, while it might look weird in a weird spot that you're not used to, it's actually very ergonomic. It works really well. The gas system is very simple. It doesn't take up much room. It vents gas forward out of the cap here. We'll cover that. And it has a reversible cross-bolt safety. And I'm sure we'll come across a couple of other goodies. Let's talk about why this thing failed. What was the main reason? The main reason was the 1100. The Remington 1100 dominated the market. Number two, back in 1974, all the rage was screw-in removable chokes where you just had one barrel and you could screw in any choke that you wanted to change the choke. You didn't have to change barrels. That was big. And also Magnum receivers that would be able to handle 2 3/4 and 3-inch loads interchangeably was another one of these big rages, and this gun could not do that. But it did have a very interesting way of being able to handle 3-inch loads. It was all in the barrel. So this barrel right here is 3-inch Magnum, and you could see the 1 star for full choke. So this barrel, you would be able to shoot 3-inch or 2 3/4 inch shells in. Now I happen to have another barrel. When I bought this gun, it came with another barrel. This is a 2 3/4. 2 stars is modified, and this is 27 inches. So it was all in the barrel. If you wanted to change chokes, you changed the barrel. And if you wanted to change between Magnum 3-inch shells or 2 3/4 inch shells, it was all in the barrel. But it did require barrel changes. And everybody was just kind of off barrel changes at that point. Well, the whole new rage everybody was all coming out with and advertising was all these guns where one barrel was it. The receiver could handle 2 3/4 inch and 3-inch. You had one barrel that you could replace the choke and put whatever choke you wanted in. All you had to do was carry choke tubes. That was the rage. You know what? All I need out of a shotgun, I shoot trap. All I need is 30 inches or 30. This is a 32-inch barrel. All I need is that and a full choke. I'm good to go. That's all I need. I haven't even used this barrel yet. I haven't even tried it. But I love this 32-inch barrel. This thing is sweet. So what do I have here that we'll check out? See, B2000. I don't know whether to call this thing a B2000 or a 2000 because it says 2000 on the gun and it says 2000 on the manual. So I don't know what to make of it, but there is a ton of information and stuff out there. This is from Browning. This is a field service manual. This is the gas system here. We're going to look into that. It shows a lot of cool stuff about dismantling, fixing stuff, checking stuff out, rocking and rolling with disassembly of all kinds of things. This is available online. It's pretty comprehensive, pretty cool. And the instruction book itself too, like most Browning instruction books, it is pretty cool. Breaks down a lot of interesting stuff about loading it, operating it. They always had pretty good instruction manuals. Nice exploded diagram. Well, let's get into it. Are we taking this thing apart or what? This is like a a weird gas system here. You guys are going to dig this. So first, let's cut into just its operation. So like a normal shotgun, we open it up, we check inside, we see a follower, we see nothing in the chamber. We know we're good. Now, this shotgun is definitely made before, you know, it was, before everything was all bike helmets and knee pads and elbow pads. You got to be really careful or you will lose a finger with this thing. So this side loading area, I mean, if you want to, snap caps by the way, if you want to just load this shotgun like you're shooting trap, you could just throw around in here like any other shotgun. The release is down here on the bottom, this tab right here. You push it that way. And you could just press this, bang, you load the shotgun. You pull the trigger, shell ejects, and it stays open. You drop the next one in, close, bang, out. You could do this over and over if you want to do that. What's interesting is that when loading the tube, right, you could just go right in here and you can just load the tube. Actually, with it, I guess with the chamber open like that, it's expecting that you're going to load the chamber. So let me just close that for a second. Just want to close the bolt so I could show you how the tube, because you would only be able to load the tube with the bolt closed. And it takes 3 rounds in the tube. Okay, now I'm just going to release one. So the 3 would go in here. Your 4th one would sit right there. And believe me, it stays. It don't come out. The 4th one would sit right there. And 1 would be in the chamber, of course. So that's how you would get 5. If you had 3-inch shells in here, it would be 4. It'd be 2 in the tube, 1 in here, 1 in the chamber. Got it? All right. Now, why does it not want to load into the magazine tube when the bolt is back? It's assuming when you have the bolt back that you want it loaded, that you want one in the chamber. It's not going to load the tube and leave the chamber empty. So if you hold the round up like this and let the spring pressure push it back, just like it vanished, right? Just like the A5. It chambers it like magic. I'll show you that again from right here, from up above. Boom, and there it is. It chambers. So fully loading it, all goes through here. You go that, and then you're loading the tube. And you got to be really careful with that bolt when you're doing this, because you hear how that's slapping shut. That is like a bear trap. So now if you wanted to close the action, what are you going to do? If you close the action, you hold this. This slaps up. I don't like the way that slaps up like that. They tell you don't let this slam closed without anything in there to ease it down gently. How do you ease it down gently? Well, like I said, you got to be careful in here, because it's that button back there that gets tripped that sets this whole thing off. So what you want to do is hold the bolt really good so it ain't going anywhere. Press that, release, ease the lifter up gently, ease the bolt closed. Easier said than done. Now what's cool about this is you could ride the hammer, you could open it this far and let the hammer ride down on the bolt to decock it. Nice, huh? So at the trap range, if you want to, you could, send each round into here like that to load it. Pretty wild. Yeah, so let's check out what's going on inside of here, this gas system. Wild gas system. So yeah, so the venting is done here through this cap. You could see that this cap is sealed to the tube. And in here, here's the beginnings of the gas system. These pieces are bronze. They scratch easily, so you do have to be careful with them. Now, the fore end and the barrel all come off here as one unit. Now you always want to be careful about pulling the barrel off of here. You want to be careful that you don't crack this forend. This forend has some interesting stuff in it. It has these two locating bars down in here that are very important. You gotta make sure that those are in place. This sleeve right here is super important. And inside that sleeve is a rubber O-ring that you have to be very, very careful with. Keep it clean, keep it free from tears, make sure it's there, make sure it doesn't fall out or get discarded. When you move this around, it could get loose in here. This could fall out. Keep this nice, contained, clean it separately, and then put it on the side gently somewhere where it's going to be safe. Now let's check out this, let's get the barrel out of the way. And the barrel, interesting too, you look in here, you see this is the locking lug for the bolt. This is the ejector right here, not the extractor. The extractor is on the bolt, but it ejects off the edge of the barrel right here. When the round comes back, it catches in there. The extractor is pulling here, the ejector catches it there, and that's what flips it out. Pretty cool. So, where are we? The gas system. Now check out this gas system. This is, I shot the gun 200 rounds without cleaning it, just so I could bring it here to you guys. So now, one thing that you have to know is that when it's open like this, the bolt is back. You have to be really careful not to drop the bolt forward now, because nothing will stop this bolt handle now from hitting into the edge of the receiver. You have to be really careful not to trip the release, is what I'm saying. So this is the action bars right here. You can see those action bars and this ring here sit up against this ring, and this is the gas system here. This is all it pushes back. It just pushes back that far. Boom. But it's enough where the inertia carries this ring right here, sits on this cross bolt piece here, this ring, and when it gets hit like that, it's enough to send this whole unit rearward. And this whole unit here consists of held back by spring pressure, so spring pressure will push it forward, and it is connected with these action bars to the bolt. So there you go, simple as that. But you go like, all right, the gas, how does the gas get in here? The gas gets in here through here. That's where the gas gets in. Gas gets in through there, because when the barrel is sitting on here, let's reinsert the barrel without the forend. When the barrel is sitting on here, right there it sits. You can see right here, here's the connection with the gas that gets pushed right down that hole into a gas chamber that's here. From those two holes right there, this barrel has two holes because it's a 2 3/4 inch barrel. The 3-inch barrel, interestingly enough, let's get it out here. The 3-inch barrel only has one hole because it needs there's more gas pushing through, so it needs less of an orifice. But I shoot 2 3/4 inch loads out of this barrel, and I do just fine. But then again, I'm using stuff that's kind of hot. 1 1/4 ounce, 1,340 feet per second. This is high velocity. This is the Rio. This is the Texas Game Load HV stuff right here. But even I've used some federal stuff that's hot. I mean, you guys gotta have. You wouldn't want to use any of those 7/8 of an ounce, loads or 1,100 feet per second. I don't know. They might not work. Give it a try. I never mess with it. I always use the same stuff. I use like hot stuff. I like fast trap ammo. So But I never have a problem. But the gas. So if you're, we've been through this. But I mean, if you're new to this, I could explain to you how this works with the gas system. So the round, obviously, the shell goes in here, and when the shell goes off, there's a tremendous amount of pressure pushing that wad and the lump of shot down the barrel. And as it's going down the barrel, there's all this pressure behind it, is what's pushing it out. When it reaches here, it crosses this threshold. Now it starts imparting gas down here as well. And from the time that the wad and the shot goes from here to the end of the barrel, so the amount of time it takes to transverse that whole time it's pushing gas through these two little holes, which go down into here, into a chamber that's made here. We're going to go inside here and see what's in there. There's like a chamber that it pushes the gas into, and that gas pushes this back. Not a slow push like I'm showing it, but more like a boomf, and that boomf is enough to impart enough inertia into this whole unit and the bolt right here to push back, and then the spring pressure pushes it forward. So it ejects and then picks up the next round and sits in position ready to go again. And any excess gas, when this system gets all the way back here and it's traveled as far as it can go, it doesn't have further gas pushing it any further. It uncovers a separate orifice that allows the gas to vent forward out this hole and out the cap through this this hole that we see right here. So let's get in here. This is a tough one in the sense that you have to really be careful when you take it apart to put everything back exactly the way it was. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go over here and get something that I use every once in a while. I just want to use it now so I can keep the gun upright when I'm working. So this cross bolt is the first thing that you're going to push out of here. And when you do it, you got to remember that everything else is under some spring pressure here. See this dirt? Looks like rust, but see this right here? This is all from like the last shooting expedition where it hasn't been cleaned yet. So you're going to see inside this whole gas system, it's going to be in the position of the look of how it would look when you clean it. So I'm going to take everything out and lay it exactly the way it looks. Let's back up a little bit so you can see what's coming out of here, huh? So yeah, first was this piece. You can see on this end it has that radar dish concave looking shape, and on that end is just this cylindrical shape. The dirty end is obviously going to be towards the system, the gas system, towards the chamber. Now you got to remember that this right here, when this is all in there, you could see that hole. It's very important that that gets lined up with the hole. That's the chamber right there, basically, where it's pushing the gas in. And this right in here is the chamber. And this piece, there's a buffer inside of here that separates this gas system from the magazine tube, because you see it shares, it's like double duty. It's the gas system slash magazine tube back here. This is what we were loading the rounds into. There's a pin right here that you could push out to get that buffer out of there, but you know what? It's not really necessary. When we clean it, you could clean inside this chamber. You don't really have to remove the buffer that's at the end. Since it comes out by punching a pin out, it's probably better to leave it alone and not let that loosen up. So now, what do we got going inside of here? Let's take a look. So we got this part here, the top of the gas system, let's say. We have a spring back here. Let's carefully remove the spring. Here's the flat part of the back of the chamber. And inside of here, this pin, if we push it forward, inside of here we have a couple more interesting dirty components. And this is the gas system right here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna bore you with I'll show you the cleanup, really, just show you a little bit here. What I do for a cleanup with this guy is, first thing I'm gonna do is get everything up on this towel here so I don't mess up my mat that much. Okay, back this off a little bit. Yeah, what the hell, stick it with you for a little while with the cleaning. So what I like to do is, I like to use some ballast oil. Let's get some ballast oil in, on, around these parts. Let it soak in there. You see there's a plastic buffer here. Not sure if it matters which way it's orientated, but we'll just keep it the same way. Plastic bristled brush. There's other people that I've heard say you could use brass, but definitely not steel. I'm just sticking with, just gonna stick with the plastic bristles myself. I don't think you need to get this, like, you know, shiny bronze again. You just need to get the, you know, the carbon, the fouling off of it, you know. If you want to soak these guys in, you know, hoppies or whatever, be my guest. This always works for me. You just want to get rid of the deposits, basically. You know what I mean? The carbon deposits is what you want to get rid of. You just want to remember the orientation and get rid of any deposits. See, it's coming off. Separate that spring. That isn't really that dirty. If you notice, it doesn't really get that gritty either because the ammo that I'm using is good ammo. So I don't feel any gunpowdery grit, which that, in my opinion, would necessitate a further type of cleaning or soaking to get rid of the grit. But here, you could wet these parts down like that, and you can clean them off. But in my opinion, you don't want to go too crazy with the oil, because when you put it together, I'm saying, like, to clean it, sure, ballast oil is a good cleaner as well as a lubricant, but you don't want too oily. Attracts a lot of dirt when you're dealing with this type of gas system. Alrighty. And we did lose track. No, I could tell because it leaves a mark. The plunger face leaves a mark on it, so I know it was this way. This piece clean, the spring clean. Now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, with this tube right here, hold on, I'll show you. Where do I have that? I have, here's what I like to do with stuff like that. I'll take a 12 gauge mop. Okay, like this, right? Put a 12 gauge mop on here and on here. Take a nice big patch like this. Soak it up good. Right, and I'll take that and we'll just clean this tube out like this. See? Not crazy dirty, but you know, it's just these deposits that it leaves behind. Nothing gritty though. Just shows how good the powder is. And if you get quality ammo, I like that that Rio stuff. It's very good, that stuff. I think they have a more bargain basement type ammo. I'm not really sure how that one is, if I'd like it. See, now you just don't want any you definitely don't want any dust in there. Hey, Charlie. Come on, you gotta go to the bathroom? Charlie, come here. Come on. Sit up there. So after the patch, I like to also microfiber towel it out, just to make sure we're clean. So now let's move the tube back in here, and let's get it back together, shall we? So back together, we kind of want it at a much more level. Oh, I could have put it like that before. That would have been nice. There we go. That works out good. So obviously, first, the spring and this guy. Correct? Correct. We get that in there. Now, this this assembly we could put together here. Is that dirty in there? Oh, that's a little dirty towards the back. Let's get that mop and that patch back in this again. We need a smaller patch, a smaller mop. So let's go with the, I guess this is the 16 gauge mop on there. And let's push all the way to the end there and get rid of that. Yep. Sorry. Doing a lot of stuff not on camera. That's not cool for you guys. There we go. Oh, still a little stubborn in there. Let's wet this a little. There we go. So that's wet a little bit. On there. I'm going to say that's good enough. That might have been in there all along. That little bit of discoloration, it's not going to hurt anybody. As long as it's clean. So, where were we again? Okay, this guy goes in this way. Let's go, guy. There we go. Now the buffer. I'm going to say like that. This way. There we go. Now you have to have this spring here orientated properly. So what I'm going to say is probably a good idea to take like a tweezer like this. Just make sure the spring is seated inside that buffer properly. So on this side, that spring, it's like there's like a seat that spring has to go in to be perfect. And there you go. It is perfect. Now, we want to make sure, again, that this orifice is in the right spot, and it is. See how it's right on the top? So when this is pushed in, it will be uncovered. That is perfect. Now, we want to clean this block that we have to push through. I just want to keep it orientated the same way. And this guy goes in here. Let me go let Charlie in. He's scratching at the door. Charlie still lives. That's right. He is an old man, but he's around. All right, now that you see that orifice being exposed, you know you're good. So let's turn it sideways. Now, this is right where this needs to get through. Here's the thing though, we have to back it back out again because I forgot to put it together with that exposed so that we could get through there. All right, one more time now. Make sure the spring is, I don't think it is in the right spot. All right, this goes here. Are we good? No, we still can't see that. See, this is where, why does that keep rotating? No reason for that to oh, because the spring is in it and I'm moving the spring. All right, so let's just do this. Let's just compress it first. Make sure this concave part goes forward. Let's just push this in. Now what we could do is we could just get this started in here. Now let's just see let's just make sure it's right. Is it exposing the hole? Yes, it is. So we're good. This is good. This is where it needs to be. So now we just have to go straight across. Easier said than done. Trust me when I tell you, you do not want to use any type of hammer, banging. It should all just go by hand. What it's going to need now is a little TLC. So I'm going to sit down. This is the part now where first I want to make sure the spring, okay, the spring is definitely in its seat. I mean, I know it's in right, but it's made to be, it would be off center slightly if you don't have everything orientated properly. Do I have that part in there? Maybe it matters to that whether it's up or down. I didn't check. Should I check? Well, let's see if it goes through. If it doesn't go through, I know it's not orientated right. No, it went through, so it's good. That's that part inside, that silver part, it probably doesn't matter which way it is, or I just got lucky. But I didn't think to see if it mattered whether it was this way or that way. But once this goes through by hand, you know you're good because it's made slightly off center. So if you have this upside down and this gas hole here, I said gas hole, is not visible, then it won't go together. It'll be really, really close where you'll think, oh, I just need to tap this through, because with guns, sometimes you do have to tap in pins, but do not tap this pin. It'll go by hand like this, or it's not right. So don't, even if you're sure you have it right, don't tap to make it better. I would make this real clean right here. And everything else that you're not going to be able to touch after you put it together. Now let's get our fore end. I'll show you this could get a little tricky right here too, because there's a procedure for this. And again, we're going to be covering this part of the barrel here. So let's get a nice clean microfiber towel. Let's zoom out a little bit. I think we were way too zoomed in for a while there. I hope you guys didn't miss much. There we go. Charlie needs a little help. He can't make it up the steps. So let's see. Now with this, I got too much stuff here. With this, you don't ever want to slap this over the barrel like that. It doesn't clip over. It actually starts from the very beginning back here, and you slide it in like that. Don't try to push this over or whatever is what I'm saying. That's their instructions. So now, here again, slide this all the way through. Ah! I got too much stuff on this table on the barrel end. There we are. That's the sound we're looking for. Now, the cap. So the barrel, that where the gas goes through, remember I showed you that here, that the gas goes through these holes here. So there's a rubber seal here, and then the cap goes on here and creates a seal. See, so when you screw on here, you're completing, you're kind of like screwing together everything that is a ball detent there. Don't go too crazy tight. That's it. That is it right there. Let's test for proper workability here. Feels good. Yep. All right, so let's do just a quick, put everything away over here, sort of out of the way, let's put it that way. And this barrel still has the snap cap in it. All right, so that was a nice dismantling of the gas system. Now again, we'll show you one more time. Boom, how cool is that? I love this thing. And that's it. 115,000 of them are out there. 114,999 now. Go take a look. They're huge. It's not a shotgun for small people. I hear they have to like really stretch to reach the trigger, but for a guy like me, it's perfect. The length of pull feels perfect, and I shoot 85 out of 100 with it. I'm getting in the 20s every game. And I can't ask for more than that. It works well for me. And that's the Browning 2000. And that's what I'm calling it, because that's what it says right here. Browning 2000. There's no A on here. So I don't know what that A thing is. Mine's a 1974, first year of production. It's a Browning 2000. And that's how they work. See you all later. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. See you soon.